Oregon NCAA Track and Field Championships. It's Ladies' Day as we welcome everybody in. I am John Anderson. It is cloudy, but it is mostly dry at the moment in Hayward Field. I say mostly dry. Who are we kidding? You're always damp if you're here. Rain in the area. It's mostly passed through, so we're hoping for umbrella-free track and mostly dry, super fast performances. This is the 40th edition of this meet, and many of the female competitors you will see here today will be back in the coming weeks at U.S. Nationals, and they'll also be here for the World Championships. It is one of the beauties of the sport at the NCAA level. It's not just college good, it is globally good. And we have the crew that can keep up with them, beginning with Dwight Stones, Lara Overton, and Robert Griffin III.
All right, John, well, we've been dancing around in between the rain these last several days, and maybe our luck has run out a little bit. But just like yesterday, Robert, it is all about the team championship, and you have to have great individuals to have great teams, and we have them across the board, whether you're on a contending team or not.
Exactly, Dwight, and it's not very often that the sprinters aren't the headliner, but today that's the case because Anna Hall, the heptathlete from Florida, is trying to pull off the unimaginable by winning the hep and also winning the 400 hurdles in the same day, but she's not the only one. Abby Steiner comes in with her hair on fire when she was running on Thursday, when she had a PB in the 100 and the 200, and we can't go without mentioning Julian Alfred, who we just saw in the 4x100 meter relay. She is leading time coming into the 100 meter dash, and she's going to have big implications on the team title.
And when you mentioned the team title, Texas in search of its first women's title since 2005. They come in with 12 strong scoring opportunities, but so do the Florida Gators, the NCAA indoor team champion on the women's side. The Gators in search of their first ever women's outdoor title. Their men already wrapped one up yesterday.
Next event on the track, the women's 1,500 meter final. There are the championship and collegiate records. 12 finalists, including Santayu Visa of Ole Miss. You can see there in the bright blue with the red bottom, the number 11 on her hip. And Julie Haymack from Stanford with the number 4 on her hip.
Cinta Visa of Ole Miss. She was the SEC champion in this event and owns the second fastest 1,500 time in the NCAA coming into the championship. You're also seeing Arkansas's Chrissy Gear up in the mix. And you have a couple of Stanford athletes in this, 3 of them, in fact, as Julia Haymack leads that trio. Dwight, this is the 5th consecutive NCAA championship that Stanford has had multiple runners in the women's 1,500 final. The last time they had 3 in the 1,500 final back in 2007, led by Ariana Lambie. But Julia Haymack is the 7-time All-American. She's also the program's school record holder. But up front right now, the 4-time All-American in Chrissy Gear. And this is what Cinta Visa does so well, really bides her time and stays in advantageous position.
Out in 66.5 for Chrissy Gear. In order to update you, the problem in the 4x100 meter relay was with South Carolina passing on their first exchange. They were last in the competition, so no consequences to the leading teams from the 4x100 meter relay. Texas gets the 10 points for the win.
Well, Laura, you got Chrissy Gear here in the front. She was 5th in this event last year at the Outdoor Championship, so she's trying to improve on that position. But when you mention the Cardinal have 3 runners in this race, do you think that they can utilize a strategy to possibly run together in this 1,500 meter to benefit themselves?
That's what their coach, J.J. Clark, wants them to do. He said in the prelims, 2 of them were together in the same preliminary heat to advance on to this final. And they were kind of laughing and joking at the starting line to keep things light. They're able to warm up together, so you're able to feed off of that team dynamic just like they do in cross country. And Dwight, we're getting a little cross country like conditions as we have a steady rain that is building over the course of the track. One of those athletes who is built to handle any adversity, though, Chrissy Gear at the SEC Championships, did a really tough double, the steeple and the 1,500.
Chrissy slows it down with an almost 70-second second lap, 2:15.8 at the 800. So the women with the 800-meter legs in this race, that's playing into their hands right now. Here continuing to lead over Visa and Haymack.
You mentioned 800-meter legs, Dwight, and Cinta Visa has those. She's run 2:01.06. That's her 800-meter PR from earlier this season. She was also the NCAA indoor runner-up. in the mile. You have that pack beginning to separate itself with Emily Mackay up there as well.
So everyone happy to have Chrissy Gear continuing to lead as we come to the bell at 3:07. And Visa looks full of run. She has kept herself out of trouble, running on the outside of lane 1, just off the shoulder of Chrissy Gear. And things are about to happen. Haymack in a little bit of a box right now that could recreate a problem if she doesn't navigate herself out of there. 3:24 at the 1200.
Emily Mackay looks really strong as she moves up that back stretch as well. Cinta Visa is in threatening position because she has outstanding closing speed over that last 200 meters. And there is Michaela De Janeiro of Colorado, the indoor champion in the mile. It is a battle up front of those same two we saw indoors.
Cinta Visa immediately reacts to the charge from De Janeiro. Chrissy Gear trying to get herself back into position. It is Visa and De Janeiro. Gear trying to stay in it, as well as Haymack coming down with 20 meters to go, and it's going to be Cinta Visa of Ole Miss holding off Michaela De Janeiro of Colorado for the win. 4:09.42 for the sophomore from Ole Miss.
A great embrace there between the first and second place finishers, both indoors and outdoors. Indoors, Michaela De Janeiro closed in a 61-second 400 meters. So Cinta Visa knew she would have to rely upon that fantastic 800-meter speed that she has. And you mentioned it. Look at the great response. So she was able to get out there around Chrissy Gear just before the turn. But the burst of Michaela De Janeiro, she tries to go up and get around Cinta Visa, and Visa responds immediately. That is fantastic race savvy that she has. I talked with Jenny Simpson, the volunteer assistant coach at the University of Colorado, and she said she really tries to help Michaela De Janeiro because Jenny's been in every racing situation possible. So they talk tactics all the time, and this was a tactical kicker's race that played out. How about Chrissy Gear, also tough as nails to respond and finish in the top 4 with Aragon of Stanford.
And you are 100% Laura. Cinta Visa has been making deposits all year long through her training and in competition. So every time someone tried to push her in this race, she answered, she dug deep, and she knew that when she had to check that, make that check, it was going to clear.
So Cinta Visa of Ole Miss winning it over Michaela De Janeiro. Stanford getting 3rd and 5th there. So they get some good points, 10 points for the Cardinal. But the champion is downstairs with John.
Thank you, Dwight. Cinta Visa, how do we flip the script from indoor and go from second to first and drop the champion into second?
Just revenge, you know.
Just revenge.
Yeah, I wanted to, you know, runner-up sucks a bit.
You said you didn't expect Chrissy Gear to go up front.
No.
But once she was there, how'd you adjust your race plan?
I was like, I just go with her. Because, you know, sometimes just let the person I had go and then the gap gets too big. I didn't want to risk it, you know.
You told me you watched Mario's race yesterday when he came in second and kind of got boxed in. What'd you learn from that race that you brought in today?
Just be careful. And I was scared. I looked to back the girl from Colorado, but I was like, I have to check where she is. Even though probably I could run faster without just controlling, but there was no scream up here. So, you know, I was like, I want to win. I don't want a runner-up. Mario already, you know, was a bit sad yesterday. So I was like, I do it for me, for my team, and for Mario.
It is a championship for Ole Miss. Hotty toddy, congratulations.
Howdy, toddy, thank you.
Dwight?
All right, John. Cinta Visa, the sophomore from Ole Miss and Italy, bringing home 10 points for the Rebels in the women's 1,500 meters. When we come back, it's the women's steeplechase final.